Welcome back to the Marquee Media Studio with Mark Haney, igniting the entrepreneurial revolution with the HaneyBiz Project.
Welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of Hub International and Legion AVS. I'm Mark Haney, and I'm joined by Chip Maxson, the general manager of the Sacramento River Cats. How you doing, Chip?
Mark, I'm doing fantastic, buddy. Great to be back.
Thank you for joining us again today. We want to catch up on all things River Cats, all things baseball, but hopefully take away some business advice today. Talk to us about what's happening right now with the River Cats.
Hey, it's great. Jeff Samardzija, he's in town. He'll be throwing for us tonight.
Nice.
So we're excited to see him and his rehab process. And then hopefully if all goes well, we'll see Johnny Cueto this weekend, potentially on Saturday night. So big weekend rehab session at Raley Field.
Well, what happens when one of these players, I know Pence has come back and rehabbed, and these guys, these pitchers coming back and rehabbing, what is the experience like in the stadium when you get the big-time guys coming in and throwing or hitting the ball?
It's fantastic. These guys, a couple weeks ago, Madison Bumgarner came through. These guys all came through the minor leagues. They know the day-to-day struggles, challenges, what our players are going through. So there's a little less stress in the rehab process. So I think they enjoy it, and they enjoy being back around the minor league guys and the clubhouse feel when these guys are scratching and clawing to make their way up. So and our fans love it because with that different environment, the guys want to give back. Bumgarner was signing some autographs, tipping his hat to people. Pence is a fan favorite. He always signs autographs. Great human being. And so hoping the same, Samardzija, he's already planning a good meal to buy our players after the game.
Awesome.
So they take care of our fans, but they also take care of the players too.
Well, I wonder about this. So if I'm a Pence, obviously if I'm hitting or playing defense, you're gonna put it all out on the line, regardless of whether you're playing for the Giants or the River Cats. But if I'm a pitcher, right, I got to protect my arm on my rehab. Mm-hmm. Do these guys come out with 100% intensity, or are they dialing it down to 90%?
Mark, what I love, and we'll probably hear about it when we hear from the Del Oro kids, but athletes are athletes. You can't take that out of them. And they've got this competitive desire. And so it was so funny with Bumgarner. He was supposed to throw 45 pitches. And they said, go ahead, if he's in the middle of an at-bat, let him finish the at-bat. And so I think he had an out. He hit 45 pitches in the middle of an at-bat. He struck the kid out at 47 pitches. Our coach went to pull him, and he was like, no, I can finish the inning. And they had this mini argument on the mound, even though, coming from the top,
Wow.
Bobby Evans and Sabian were like 45 pitches, that's it. We've got to bring him along slowly. But it's that desire, that competitive nature in all these athletes that they don't necessarily want to come out when they're supposed to. So I love that. It's one of the great things about sports.
So River Cats baseball is alive and well. Talk to us about Raley Field, the difference between Raley's and the other minor league ballparks around the country.
Yeah, I'm absolutely blessed. I've been able to work for 5 different minor league baseball teams throughout the country. Midwest guy, spent 5 years Texas and Tennessee, 5 years up in Tacoma, Washington, and now down here in Sacramento. And it all starts with the fans. And it sounds cliche, but I've been to other ballparks where the community doesn't support the teams like the Sacramento region supports the River Cats. And in the end, that's what makes us so successful. But that also, it's what drives us to try and give back so much and try and as Raley Field continues to evolving around our fans and the experience that they want when they come out to the ballpark. So I love it. It makes my job easy. And the baseball fan, that part of me, I end up smiling too when I see happy families come out to ball games.
Yeah, well, you guys support the community so much. I mean, you helped us with our with the HaneyBiz Masters golf tournament, but you are everywhere out there with Dinger, getting involved in the community. What inspired that? Where did that come from?
It started from day one with Susan and Art Savage, and when they were talking about bringing the team here to Sacramento, they wanted to make sure they constantly gave back to the community, and so. Before they even built Raley Field, they started the RiverCats Foundation. That was the goal, to give back, whether it's arts and entertainment, whether it's school programs or youth programs for the kids of the Sacramento region. each year we want to make sure that that's a goal, and we have our foundation board that meets and says, hey, what are some of these programs we're going to give back to this year, and what ways can we be involved? And if we can't give back financially, what are ways, like you mentioned, through Dinger or tickets or free school programs that we do? Let's go get involved and let's use our platform to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, Dan Wells earlier, the guest prior, talked about his team, right? His team was so integral in the success of Bases Loaded. Talk to us about what you've done with the team over there at the RiverCats.
Oh, it's all about the team, and I loved hearing the Bases Loaded approach to the family that works there, and taking care of the employees, and we try and mirror some of that on whether it's the healthcare side, paying for all the healthcare for our employees, whether it's education and leadership, which is it's so important these days, because how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be different? How are you going to develop the appropriate culture within? And so that's the approach that we try and take is if you've got a good culture, it's going to manage a whole lot better than I can ever do. It's going to manage better than you can do. And so that's a big focus of ours. And it starts with taking care of those employees so they know that you value them. Earning their trust is so important, because if they feel valued and secured, they're going to run through a brick wall. They're going to get behind the mission and push it forward.
How do you create that culture? So I wonder, does that start with you? Does that start with Savages? Or does that start with the team getting together and deciding what that culture is?
That's what I'm here to learn. You're supposed to help me.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you that it starts with the mission statement, over-communicating the mission, rallying around the vision. I mean, but sometimes that's not easy to do. I've had some humbling moments in my time where I've sort of looked in the mirror and realized I'm not leading like I need to, right? I'm not stepping out and leading. But humbling moments, I'm the first to talk about my humbling moments. Have you ever had a humbling moment there at the RiverCats? Lay it on us, big guy.
I go back to there's probably a couple kind of marquee moments in my life that I look back on it, and one was when I was playing college baseball, and I was a captain of the team. I had some leadership qualities, and my teammates saw that in me. But when I sat down in front of my coach, and I was playing pretty well, middle infielder, and my coach just honestly said, "Hey, I don't know if you have what it takes to play at this level." And that hit me hard. For the first time in my life, somebody, a coach didn't view me as successful. And so that was kind of a wake-up call. And at the same time, I was asked to lead Fellowship of Christian Athletes at our college. And I was doubting myself. Okay, wait a minute. If I don't have what it takes, how am I going to go lead others? But at the same time, I got a good team around me for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We ended up growing that, doing a lot to support our college and the other students there. And I saw significant growth. People rallied and started coming out. And it clicked in my mind that maybe if it's all about me on the baseball team, I don't have as big of an influence as I do when I have a good team around me and what I can do off the field. And so it kind of was that paradigm shift in my mind of the impact of leadership. And so I've tried to take that forward and thinking, hey, if it's not about me, if it's not about my performance, what ways can I help other people improve their performance? And so that was incredibly humbling, but a great experience back in college. Now as I move forward and with the RiverCats, I remember early on when I came, I thought I was proud of my resume. Okay, you'll see some things here, my pride and humbling. And I was proud of my resume, and I expected people to just get behind me because of some of the skins on the wall that I had that I'd done with other teams. But it doesn't work that way. People want to make sure that you're going to value them. You've got to earn their trust. And so there were some early days when people didn't want to necessarily get behind what I had, and I realized I've got to get down. I've got to get.
Your staff didn't want to rally around what you were trying to accomplish with the RiverCats.
Yeah, Dan and Shauna talked about a great business plan. I thought I had a great business plan put together. I would go show that. I would point back to accomplishments I would have. But the staff needed to see me work alongside them. They need to see that plan in action. And I realized I had to earn their trust. And so whether it's going on meetings with our ticket sales reps, whether it's sitting with our marketing folks and writing out the plan and listening to their ideas to get their buy-in, I realized those were the things I need to get back to the basics of business and leadership. And once I was able to do that, once I was humbled, started working with those folks and trusting my team, that's when we were able to finally start moving that culture in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, thinking about when you were a player and your coach doubted you, why did he doubt you Because it seems to me that in entrepreneurship, in many ways, we're going to have people that doubt us, and sometimes that causes us to break our confidence, right? We don't do as well. We don't do as well at the plate. We don't do as well maybe even in the field. We've got to have confidence, but if you have a coach, you can't get rid of your coach, right? In entrepreneurship, you can get rid of your doubters. You can eliminate them from your life. But as a player, and you have your coach or your boss, I mean, you can't ditch the boss.
No. It's again, it was a great wake up call too. And to be honest, back to my competitive makeup, I'm a competitive guy, youngest of 3 boys, had to fight for everything growing up. Always was a little shorter, a little smaller, a little slower than everybody else. So it also just fueled my fire to work harder. And so that was my thought is, hey, I'm going to prove to him that I do belong here, that I can compete at this level. Because I'd done it the prior 2 years, why couldn't I keep doing it? So it just made me double down on my efforts and get back to my own basics of making myself better as an athlete at that time.
Well, let's, as we only have a minute or so left, closing out, thinking about Sacramento. The RiverCats are an important piece of the Sacramento entrepreneurial community, of the Sacramento business culture. What's your view for the next several years in Sacramento? You're at the heart of it.
Yeah, it's great. We've got great partners with like Rayleigh's that we continue to have conversations with, saying, hey, what can we do to enhance the experience here at the ballpark? So it's not just about the RiverCats, but some of these great partners. And as we look at the landscape, we look at what people are expecting out of a sports or entertainment experience. We want to continue to provide, whether it's social spaces for people to just hang out. Our brand new Knee Deep Alley this year has become a hot spot. Their new Sac Fly PA, you'll see some resemblance and with that beer to Rayleigh Field. So it's that unique, tying back into the community and the local feel, those social spaces at the ballpark that people want to rally around. We just did a Farm to Fork, a fundraiser for Rayleigh's, where it was a tailgate in the parking lot, and proceeds will go back to their foundation. So things that people want to get behind, and it's not forgetting who we are as Sacramento.
Yeah. Well, Chip, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank you and your organization for what you do for our community. Going out to Rayleigh's to Rayleigh Field is a blast. I've made business connections out there, hanging out in the lounge, hanging out in one of the suites, or just behind home plate watching a ball game. It is the place to be in Sacramento. When we return, I will be joined by Matt French, a man who has brought his business expertise to high school baseball. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of Chicago Fire and Apex Appraisal Services. This is the HaneyBiz Project.